Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, last week I was celebrating my husband's birthday and honestly he has golf clubs and surfaces like this all over the house. So I've kind of been practicing my putting, but I've got on a different hat today. Vera Hospitality is the branch of my company that does catering during the golf tournament here in Augusta. And right now we are all in getting ready for such a celebration that we have in this town. So today we're doing 3 recipes out of the next cookbook. So we're going to start with cheese Crispies. This is an old family recipe. It is a perfect bite-sized snack to have with the cocktail. And then the green jacket salad. This is probably one of the more famous recipes during that week in our town. And we're going to put some baked chicken on it so you can use it as an entree. And then finally, if you're looking for a light dessert to serve in the spring, the macaroon pie is going to be your new favorite. So in Vera's Corner today, we're going to give you some ideas of how to prop your party out to make it look like a golf tournament. And you know, I'm just ready to put this putter down and get started on those cheese Crispies. All right, so cheese Crispies, honestly, I can just remember so vividly walking into my mother-in-law's house and you could just smell the cheese Crispies and you knew she was either catering a cocktail party or a bridal shower or a wedding reception. And so her instrument to make this recipe is critical to the success of this recipe. This is called a rotary grater. And as you can see, it's almost like little fine pieces of spaghetti that the cheese makes when you use this grater. So this calls for sharp Cracker Barrel cheese, and she was also a stickler for that brand when she made this recipe. So you might have to go out and get those 2 things to do this, but it's going to be so worth it. All right, so I've got the cheese grated. Now I'm going to add in my soft Land O'Lakes margarine. So this recipe doesn't use butter, it uses margarine. And we're just going to mix these together. And this is where you really have to, once I get started on the other ingredients, you're going to have to get in there with your hands, you know, to get it really evenly divided. But what makes this so unusual is that the cheese actually blends really well because how finely it's been grated. All right, so now I've got my flour. I'm going to sprinkle that in, and I'm going to do about half of this and get that combined, and then go in with the rest. And just, you know, just use your hands and mix it together, and it'll be sticky, but it's going to come together really well. All right, then I've got red pepper. I'll go ahead and add that. And you know, if you've got a child that's maybe 10, this might be a great recipe for them to help with. Otherwise, you're going to have these ingredients all over the kitchen. But we make this in the summer with our campers, so they love this recipe. And so do the parents when they take it home. All right, so now I'm going to add in my Rice Krispies. And you know, when you think about this recipe, you can almost understand the date of it because Rice Krispies as a brand was doing this and Rice Krispie treats, and they used to put these recipes on the box. So that, you know, really tells you the time of, you know, the year that this was actually done and created. All right, so one of the things I'm very proud of about this cookbook as a former home economics teacher, you cannot be more specific about what needs to happen for a recipe to be successful. So when I say to make the balls the size of a marble, that is going to have a lot to do with how crisp they get and how long it takes them to bake. So it was so funny, one time we were doing this with the campers and I said, you need to make it the size of a marble. And a child said, well, I have a marble in my pocket. So, you know, we'd actually gotten it exactly right. So, you know, just pitch it off. And this takes a few minutes, of course, to do. But then once you've done that, you're going to have a bowl of water to dip your fork into. And you're going to press down as flat as you can go one way and then press the other way. And that's what makes these so crisp, is that they've gotten thin and you've gotten that good depth, and they're all will be the exact same size. All right, so I'm gonna finish this. When we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on the green jacket salad. And if you don't have this recipe, you're gonna be thrilled to have it. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, I'm celebrating the spring chapter of the next cookbook that's going to be on the shelves in just a couple of weeks. I'm so excited. And we got the cheese Crispies that we got in the oven, and if you are lucky enough to have a convection oven, you can do several trays of these at one time. My M-Series oven by Wolf is just amazing, and I can do several racks, but you want to turn the temperature down by 25 degrees from what the recipe says if you're using the convection feature. All right, so the green jacket salad is just a really famous recipe in Augusta, Georgia. And the recipe in the book will tell you to whisk this in a bowl, but you know, how many of you have the old school Italian good seasonings cruet from 100 years ago? I still love to use it, and instead of using a bowl, a lot of times I'll just use my cruet. So I'm putting in my vegetable oil, my red wine vinegar, and then my seasonings are Lowry's seasoned salt and fresh oregano. All right, I'm just gonna put my lid on this and get that shaken up. All right, so now I've got, isn't that beautiful? Now I've got my romaine lettuce that's just nice and cut up, and this just stays crisp when you put the dressing on it. So in with my greens, I'm going to do cherry tomatoes that are diced, the tops of some green onions, fresh parsley, and then I love the shaved Parmesan because you can actually see it in there. So another part of this that goes into this salad are pita chips, and that gives it the nice crunch. So what we did there was you take your flat pita bread, cut it in half, you want to brush the top of it with unsalted butter, and then the seasoning on it is popcorn seasoning. So that's what makes this taste so good, because those are going to go on last so they'll stay nice and crisp. Okay, so we're gonna actually make this salad an entree this time. And this is another recipe in the book that's in the wedding chapter for baked chicken. It's just really scrumptious. All right, so what we did here was we took 4 chicken breasts, I dipped them on both sides in melted butter, and then the seasoning that goes on top are both McCormick seasonings. One of them is the Montreal seasoning, and the other is the rotisserie chicken. So these 2 seasonings really make this chicken delicious. And what I'm going to do here is just basically cut the chicken breast into strips. And then if you're doing a buffet and you're going to have this spread out really big, you might want to leave it as strips. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it into cubes. So it's just your choice for how you want to do it and serve it, but this just really bakes up beautifully and is really nice, moist, and tender. All right, so we're gonna get this put together. In Vera's Corner today, I'm gonna give you some tips for how to prop out your party for a golf-themed look. And then the next recipe we're gonna do is the macaroon pie that is probably one of the most unusual pie recipes you've ever heard of. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. I love golf-themed events, and I love to make food that kind of celebrates the occasion. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how to prop out your party to make it golf-themed to have a lot of fun. It's so easy to turn regular party food into golf-themed treats. How about some potato wedges? A bowl of chips could be some chip shots, and chicken wings could become birdie wings. Find this tent card template on our website. Even beverages could have cute names. Try sweet tea with lemonade for an Arnold Palmer your guests will love. Turn regular donuts into hole-in-ones. Start by making some golf flags with toothpicks and construction paper. Next, spread some chocolate icing on a glazed donut and dip in green sprinkles. Finish it off with a golf flag. Tee up your cupcake. Tint some vanilla icing green. Use a piping tip to create the grass of the tea box. Place a tea in the center of the cupcake and top with white chocolate truffles. Finally, set the scene with some fake grass, golf balls, flowers that mimic the beautiful holes on some of the world's famous courses. With a little creativity, any party can go from good to great. Try some of these ideas to make your golf party extra special. Start free today at taxslayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner. You know, some of those ideas are really perfect for watching the golf tournament on TV. You know, everybody doesn't actually get to come to Augusta to the tournament, so have friends over to watch it on Saturday and Sunday and try some of these recipes. All right, so this is an old Madison, Georgia recipe. I lived in Madison in the late 70s. And honestly, you could have people over for dinner and they could be anywhere from your grandparents' age to your age. People were so friendly in that town. Our across the street neighbors were old enough to be my grandparents. I probably had them every time I had a dinner party. They were just delightful. And so this recipe was a friend of mine in Madison, and to this day, I've never had this served to me anywhere else. It's just a great recipe. So what I've gone ahead and done is I had my egg whites at room temperature. I got those whipped until the medium peak had formed. And then your sugar you want to add very slowly as you go so that you're going to end up with these nice stiff peaks at the end. So let me take this wire whisk off and we'll start with all the other ingredients. I've also gone ahead and sprayed my Pyrex pie plate with baking spray, so it's ready to go. And then saltine crackers, good gracious. You know, we said that was a Southern ingredient, and it certainly is, as we go through season 11 with Southern ingredients. But you just put them in a bag and just crush them up with your hands. Those are ready to go. So we're gonna add in chopped up dates. And these dates were actually gigantic. The recipe calls for 12. So you basically want about a cup of chopped dates. I'm going to add those to my saltines. And then Pearson Farms. It wouldn't be a good Southern pie without Pearson Farms pecans. And I also love to have those nice and chunky when those go in the pie. You want to taste all of these fabulous ingredients. All right, then you've got some almond extract and baking soda. So I'll just take my spatula out of here and mix these together. And once you know you're mixing in with the other dry ingredients, and it's going to keep those dates from sticking together, but you might want to just take your hands and kind of work with that just a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that you're thinking this is so unusual. All right, so now I'm going to get my egg whites off of here, and we're going to fold these into the date mixture. And you know, that technique of folding is one of the most soothing things to do in the kitchen. I mean, it just is just a very unique Southern technique and baking technique that I enjoy doing. Okay. All right. So basically folding is going down to the bottom and turning. So that what we're trying to do here is not spend too much time moving those egg whites around so they'll stay fluffy. It'll keep this pie. It's just gonna bake up so beautifully. And the almond flavor in this is another ingredient that just really makes this a very tasty pie. All right, so I've got my pie shell all ready to go. So let's add this in. And then this is gonna bake at 350 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. And this also makes your kitchen smell amazing. All right, so we're gonna get this baked. We're gonna get everything laid out for our golf party. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Maybe make yourself a signature cocktail so you can have fun with me at the end. All right, so we are ready to watch golf or to actually have people over after you've played golf all day. A lot of this you could have made in advance. You could have people over for the 19th hole at your house. So these are all recipes that'll be in the new cookbook, and you know it's in pre-sale right now. And the bonus on pre-sale is you get your shipping for free, and you also get my signature for free. So I hope you'll go on our website at VeryVera.com and order the book and enjoy some of these recipes coming up throughout the year in occasions. All right, so let's walk back through what we did today. We started with the cheese Crispies, and as I said, this was my mother-in-law Sue Stewart's recipe. She made it all the time. It's great with a cocktail, so as you're having, you know, whether it's a beer or a glass of red wine or just your favorite signature drink, this is just a great little bite-sized appetizer. Then we moved into the green jacket salad, and this salad dressing is just delicious, and it lasts in the refrigerator for quite a while, so that's really great. We got everything in the salad, you know, on the show today. The little pita chips that I said I would put on at the absolute last minute, so they'll stay nice and crispy. Those will be on the top. And then the chicken, you know, this is just a great recipe. Like I said, that's in the weddings chapter as an entree. We're gonna put some of that on the top, so that's gonna be really good. And then finally, the macaroon pie. This just really slices pretty. We'd put a little bit of whipped cream on the top. You could maybe do some chocolate over the top of that, but it's just a really crunchy, delicious pie. And we used the Pearson Farm pecans in that today, but I also want to mention that Pearson Farms has the most fantastic peaches, and we did a signature cocktail that we're going to use this year during the golf tournament that actually uses their peach preserves in the drink. So I cannot wait to serve that to my guests. You know, the Vera part of our brand is the hospitality part of what we do, and this year we will have been doing it for 39 years. We actually have some of our original clients from 39 years ago that all we did was the catering, but now we do so much more. We handle your transportation, your florals, your housing, where you're gonna reside. We take care of getting you back and forth to the airport and any other thing, but the best part that we do is we handle the food, and we take care of that with great service, great protocol. We just handle every single detail. So, you know, I always say on the VeryVera show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste, and you can't go wrong with any of these recipes today. But speaking of good taste, you might enjoy a little behind the scenes look at putting the cookbook together. Come back again next week.
All right, we ready?
So today we're doing the photography for the next cookbook, the VeryVera cookbook, Occasions. We're doing great.
That's good.
I'm so excited to be working again with Peter Frank Edwards.
And action.
We've had a lot of fun pulling props. He loves things that are a little tarnished and weathered. We've got crumbs everywhere because he just loves to mess things up. Where are you copying my face? We have had so much fun tasting and testing all the recipes to make sure they're just perfect. These are the things that make the project come to life and make me go back to over 30 years worth of collecting recipes. We just had an amazing time. Wonderful. What's next? Also this week, the illustrator for our book, Kat McCall, has joined us to do a beautiful tablescape for Thanksgiving. So the enthusiasm that she brought to the table certainly gave us a lot to be excited about, not only throughout the process of creating the book, but also working on site for photography. The first book was defined as the products that I sold through mail order and in my retail store. This book is all of the occasions of my years of being a homemaker, a mother, a grandmother, the catering jobs that we did along the way. So we have roughly 145 recipes in the book, sorted by season of the year, particularly by occasion. Family reunions, birthday celebrations, get-togethers at the beach, what would you take? And what's maybe one special dish that you could introduce to your family at Thanksgiving that might be something new this year? It's going to be a lot of fun to cook from. That is just gorgeous. Occasions will be coming out very soon. It's going to be a book that you will enjoy for every season of the year.